When the Phone Rings, episode 7 and episode 8. Episode 7 literally rocked my foundation, everything that I wanted. You guys all know the big, massive event that happened in episode 7. And episode 8 only brought in a lot more confirmation of all the theories that myself and the ardent fans of this show have been discussing. There is a lot to talk about, a lot to debrief on, and to just bring all together. And I really want to get into it with this episode. Hi, I'm Monique. I am the host of Off by Purple Heart podcast, where I talk to you about K-dramas and C-dramas and BTS and so much more. Episode 7 of When the Phone Rings, I'm obviously going to be going to spoilers, so if you haven't watched either episode, what are you doing here? Go watch the show. It's good. It's incredible. Then come back and we debrief together. First 5 minutes were just exactly what I wanted. I really love the actress. I really think that she is able to sell her fear so incredibly well. So in episode 7, we have Hae-joo kind of recollecting on her childhood and basically revisiting that very traumatic MVA that she was involved in with her sister, which basically started this whole nightmare cycle, and her having to tap into not speaking and having to carry on this persona of having the selective mutism. Having all of that bubble back up to the surface with the recent events, and her basically telling her younger self as an adult, please speak up, and her begging and pleading for her as a child to advocate for herself and her well-being, knowing how everything plays out, was really heartbreaking. I'm telling you, these actors are really putting in the work, and that scene set up everything really well. The incredible amount of emotional depth between her and Seon in the hospital, the vulnerability that they are both able to express, him holding back his tears like multiple times, but still trying to be, the big, strong protector of her and trying to reassure her and kind of ground her after everything. And him slowly breaking down, even though he's trying to put on this really strong front for her. Again, just beautiful craftsmanship between both actors. I think they're doing such a great job. They have such fantastic chemistry. There are some criticisms about this show because it's so popular right now, and I just don't understand people saying it's flat out cringe. If the show's not for you, that's one thing, but people are saying that it's really cringy and overwrought and that they don't like the acting. I just don't understand, because the actors are selling it so well. If people have issues with storytelling, that's one thing, or the writing in certain places, but I think the acting has been solid from the word go, which is why I think this has catapulted to being like the it K-drama that people are talking about right now. The acting is solid and it's selling all the more soap opera-ish, more, out there melodramatic moments. I think everything about this show gels for me. Like, I'm loving everything, but the acting and the chemistry between the leads is what's bringing it home for me in a big way. And I love that despite the super heightened emotions of the beginning of episode 7, which would only make sense following the prior incidences, I love that there was like little moments of intimacy that was woven in episode 7 as well, like the little awkward interaction of Seon, coming through with that promise that he's going to do better and try more as a husband, and he's trying to care for her, and they're slowly breaking that physical barrier between them and getting more comfortable with being a little bit more physical in their expressions towards one another. Him helping with washing her hair, I thought was really cute. And them just kind of learning to be in each other's spaces, and it looks like she was kind of cracking up sort of while feeling a little awkwardish, and then kind of slowly kind of melting together. I think all the flirting scenes between them as well, like, I like Seon the character, enjoy Hae-joo when she's being more feisty and she's got that wit that she can give back to him when they're using the phones. I love those interactions as well. And to me, the flirting scene when he is talking to her as 406 is like some of my favorite stuff. the actors have great chemistry. And don't worry, I'm going to get to the big event of episode 7. I'm going to get to that point. But all I'm going to say is, with what happened at the end of episode 7, I want all that flirtatious energy that they have in those phone conversations together, with the fieriness and the sarcastic banter, and for that kind of energy to go into when they are kissing and then they're, doing the hanky-panky, whatever. I think the actors have such good physicality that I really want them to play into that. I just want that. I love Sam when he smirks and he's being all cocky around her. That's like chef's kiss for me. Like, I squeal. I'm like kicking my feet. It's such good shit. Okay? I love it, love it, love it, love it. So, I had to get that out first. The sister coming back, between episode 7 and episode 8, I feel like the writers are really playing it close to the chest. I haven't read the novel for this show, and I know this is based on manhwa, and a lot of people, because of the mania surrounding the show, has read it. So I'm really curious about the sister's involvement in the whole mystery. Like, I feel like the show is straddling the line of her potentially being a foil and her being an ally and a help to Haeju, because that was the impression I got from the previous episode when she was introduced again to us. And I feel like the show kind of wants to still play it mysterious with her, like she can be a backstabber at the last minute, or she's here to really uncover and unveil all the truth, so her and her sister and Seon and everyone can be free of all the toxicity of these two powerful families. So I'm more hoping that she will be an ally in the crutch, even though she might have unorthodox ways of revealing all the truths, but I still can't get a good read on her. But I do like that she had that bit of a showdown with the mom. I feel like the mom is like one of the most pathetic characters in the show. I mean, obviously the kidnapper, the stalker, yeah, for obvious reasons, but the mom really is, there really isn't any redeeming qualities in her. And I pretty much enjoy all the interactions of all the major players, but I just find the mother character just so useless, even though she does serve her purpose in the plot. But anyway, I have to say, the best friend, the college friend of Haeju, who is connected to the whole mysterious orphanage, he is so shady to me. And I feel like it's at the point now where the show has focused on him and showcased him and his suspicious looks so much, and I'll even talk about this more going into episode 8, that I feel like it can't be him that is like the main antagonist, the villain. But I still feel like there has to be a way that he is connected to the twin brothers and the real Park Seon. There has to be a connection there. He's really off, and I just can't deal with him. The assistant as well to Park Seon, the one that we know, he also is very shifty, but I also feel like that could potentially be red herring as well. But there's like certain lingering shots that the camera is doing, so clearly they want us to look at him with suspicion as well. To be honest, I'm at the point with K-dramas that I'm pretty much suspicious of everyone, even like Mr. Kang with the glasses, and he's been pretty much played up as comic relief and like a low-key shipper for Park Seon and Hong Haeju. So I think I'm supposed to take that character as just being light and cute and fluffy, but I know the actor is able to play the comedic elements really well, and he can also do darker. And if the show is able to pull the rug from underneath me and he turns out to be like the bad guy, like I would love it. But like I'm suspicious of everybody, but I still, the assistant and the best friend, I can't with them. I just find they're both off-putting in different ways. The best friend in particular, but I think it's almost becoming too obvious. And I'll discuss that more going into episode 8. But I really want to get to the big marquee moment, episode 7. That kiss. Can I tell you, it is so rewarding to have actors that know how to kiss. I've been watching another show as well where there was just this jaw-dropping, show-stopping kiss that literally you feel like your stomach is doing somersaults. That's what I felt with this kiss. The kiss was so good. The whole leading up to Heejoo finally allowing herself to be revealed as 406. And I said this in the prior podcast about how much that phone represents the two of them breaking down barriers of communication between them and them be able to really truly reveal their innermost thoughts and truly get to bare their souls to one another through the phone, because that intimacy can be created without them having to look each other dead in their eyes, and how the phone has been able to give Hong Hee-joo her true voice back, and you get to see the fiery side to her, the all sides to her, and see her at her most vulnerable, and for her truly to let all the negativity bare, like to show basically the worst sides of herself, which to me I am solely sympathetic and empathetic for. Like, I'm rooting for a character the most. I think the actress and the writing has done a great job in making Han Hee-joo everything that you need for in the classic female heroine, the female lead. I love her. I love her presence, and I root for her. I root for her happiness above all else. But I genuinely like the relationship, and considering how cold Park Seon was, and even though he wasn't the perfect guy by any stretch of the means, I think the show has done a great job getting us to this moment. We genuinely love and root for them to be a couple, even with the problematic past, which is a hard feat, let me tell you. But I was so immersed in that entire, I guess, hide and seek, and for her finally getting to him in that major tower. Mind you, there was a part of me that's also thinking, okay, we know that there's a stalker on the loose, there's a killer on the loose, he's been making very targeted attacks, he's come after both of you guys. I don't know if this is the time to be doing like a romantic rendezvous in a big ass park around a carousel when there can be any other people that could essentially abduct you from the place. I know it was for romantic telling purposes, and obviously Park Seon had planned this very well out in the midst of all this drama and angst. But I was just thinking, is this really time to be playing all this hide and seek when there's this killer on the loose that could potentially abduct her while you're doing all this romantic grand gesturing? But anyway, it was all romantic, and leading up to the kiss and her finally admitting that she thought he would absolutely despise her if she was to reveal that she had this phone and that she was playing into the role of 406 and wanting that divorce. And it's basically saying, how is it that you don't hate me after all this has been revealed? And him saying, please tell me, how can I hate you? Everything said and done, how can I hate you? How can I not love you? And that kiss. You have no idea how much I love it when a male lead knows how to kiss. That man knows what he's doing. That man is dangerous. That kiss. And I feel like Han Hee-joo held her own in that kiss as well. But I wanted a little bit more from her. But it was a good kiss. But I definitely want another one. And I hope that they give it to us. As I said, I want the fiery, sexy banter between them when they're on the phone and like he's flirting with her. Like, I want that in a kiss and in a love scene before the 12 episodes are up. But 10s across the boards. Episode 7, still keeping that incredible rising pace and momentum of the show. Like, the show has not slowed down for me at all. I have been captivated from episode 1, and going into episode 8, I'm still enjoying the ride, which is all I can ask for from a K-drama. I love the damn show. Episode 8, even after all the sweetness and cream, having Heejoo's nightmare of Park Seon basically leaving her and abandoning her. Chef's kiss again. Like, again, I love how the show straddles the real fears that manifest in this relationship that are understandable because they've laid down the foundation of why there's still that level of mistrust from her, even after everything and the life-saving, death-defying, heroic antics that Park Se-yeon has done. This is all still in a very heightened, very close, short period of time. Like, all these reveals, all of this is probably happening in the timeline of the show in a matter of like weeks, versus her and her entire life and everything that she's had to keep buried deep within, mainly because of her stank ass mother, but because of everything else. And those 3 years of the marriage being super cold and icy, and him being really harsh, thinking that this was in a way of protecting her, versus actually just keeping her in the dark even more so and creating a hostile environment which didn't need to be. So all of these fears manifesting and her still having doubts completely makes sense in everything that's been showcased to us. And I like how the show has done that. We can root for them. It's totally realistic, and even with all the melodrama and everything that seems unrealistic, their relationship and the grounding of the relationship and the work that has been built into it to become a lot more satisfying and a lot more emotionally fulfilling, all of it makes sense. And it's these little scenes here and there that keeps like the human part of the show and not just like a trashy thriller. And I don't think of it as a trashy thriller. I feel like it's just a really good all-rounder show. It really is. And the romance is selling it for me. I love that we got more confirmation of, once again, Se-yeon that we know is not the real Se-yeon. We got paper and actual evidence that his DNA does not match. And we got to see him actually, as a child, witness the drowning of the real Park Se-yeon by the grandfather. And him and his father / guardian that was witnessing this on the fishing boat, and how that all ties together with this fish shop and then the subsequent fire that happened. We all know that Se-yeon's going to be fine leading into episode 9, especially with, the post-credit trailer for the additional scenes. But I do like we're getting more and more and more information that lines kind of everything up so it makes sense. So they're not going to be able to really pull a fast one, because if you're building this mystery, I want all the puzzle pieces to make sense. I still want there to be an element of surprise, like an angle that we didn't see, especially for those of us who haven't read the novel or the manhwa. But everything right now is kind of clicking into place. I'm really unsettled by the best friend. I was already mentioning this, but episode 8, that entire sequencing in the car was really creepy. Everything about the way he was looking at Hae-ju, him revealing that he knew that she could speak, and just the dead stare that he gives her is so incredibly unsettling. It's to the point now where I think the show and the writers are being so obvious that it can't just be him, but it was still so unsettlingly creepy. It was just, he's just weird vibes, bro. I can't with that character. I don't like him. I still think he's connected in one way, shape, or form. Like, I'm not putting him in the clear, and I actually think he could potentially have been the one that set the fire, right? But there's just something so off-putting about him. Like, the actor, I guess, is doing an amazing job, but from like the word go, from like for episode 1, I'm like, I don't like this dude. I don't. And he just comes off that much more creepy and stalkery in this episode. I'm just like, nah, just get him off my screen. That's enough. Enough with him. I've had it. I don't like it. I love that Park Se-yeon and Hong Hee-ju were able to have another communication barrier kind of break down. And that whole event and him kind of coming to the rescue and then pulling off to the side of the road and him talking to her, and it's like, are you scared of me? Like, why couldn't you come to me? If you had all these suspicions, why would you go to him? And her admitting the anxiety that she's been feeling and the abandonment and the fear that he could walk away from all of this, not even just because of her disguising herself as 406, but even finding out about his past, and that's still being something that he feels that he has to draw away from her. Like, she's so 10 toes down and locked in now, and I love that through both communications, through both parties, and Seon basically saying to her, if everything goes down, I am fully willing and ready to walk away from this title, walk away from this position of power, and it could just be me and you against the world kind of thing. We can just run away with one another, and we can leave all this behind. I know a lot of this is being spurred on by the fact that there's too many reveals now, and he knows that it's just a matter of time that everything's going to come to light because the writing's on the wall now, both figuratively and literally. But I really enjoy these moments that we get to see them continue to grow together in the relationship. It's just really good stuff. And with the entire last few episodes, but definitely episode 7 and definitely earlier in episode 8, where Han Hee-ju's learning more and more about Seon, and their relationship is getting closer, and they're finally at that point where we can cross into this being something real. There's still so many doubts of his sincerity and whether he can truly be in this relationship with her. And for that little epilogue to show during that little retreat how many pictures of him were just him staring off at her in a distance when she wasn't looking, and for her to be overwrought with emotion, because that is what finally crystallized in her mind that, yeah, he is truly here for me. He truly does love and care for me. I don't need to doubt this anymore because the proof is in the pudding. Like, picture tells a story of 1,000 words, right? Everything is there. Everything's there in those pictures to show that he is down bad. He is down bad for that girl. So I'm really looking forward to the final episodes for this. I am not going to be happy if that assistant and or the best friend are not some way, shape, or form implicated in all this. I just think the best friend angle is a little bit too obvious now, but the assistant still looks shifty. As I said, it could be, Mr. Kang for all I know from the comms team. But in any case, let me know your thoughts below. How are you feeling about When the Phone Rings? 8 episodes in. I've been enjoying the entire ride of this show. I think it's been great, and I cannot wait for more.